The ferry horn cuts through the haze as Tony Cipriani steps back into Liberty City with a suitcase and old debts. He once killed a man and hid for years. Now he wants back in. Salvatore Leone shakes his hand, then assigns him under Vincenzo Lucky Silly. Tony expects respect. He gets a leash.
And now you're expecting me to take orders from this...
Salvatore is careful. He needs order. Vincenzo is jealous. He wants a punching bag. The city's gang grind the streets, and a Sicilian envoy whispers about peace. Tony swallows pride and takes his first job. He knows the rules. Prove yourself or get buried by them. Vincenzo starts small and mean. He sends Tony to pick up a clean car that screams police bait, to chase money from a failed job, to move product for a shaky dealer. Tony was once a trusted enforcer. Now he's doing errands. Vincenzo's tells are clear. Loud plans, cheap traps, no courage. The car is wired for a bust. Tony spots it, ducks the sting and files the insult. He keeps moving. He understands. Survive the day, get closer to the real seat. JD O'Toole calls him from the other side. JD runs Paulie's review bar for the Sindacos. He's weak but useful. His past is hustling for the rival family. His present is fear and debt. He wants to flip. Tony sees an opening. The Leones start cutting into Portland. The Doll's House, a Sindaco brothel casino, becomes the target one.
I'm coming! But not like that!
Tony hits the floor, breaks the cash lines and sends a message. The Leones are back in the room. Tony heads home to Ma Cipriani's kitchen, which is its own battlefield. Ma is old school and hard. Her past with Tony is pride turned into nagging. She wants a made man, not excuses.
Casa ain't no good man, he's a pervert.
That's just a foul-mouthed rumor. What kind of man are you, Tony?
Tony tries to impress her with action. He exposes Giovanni Casa, a respectable shop owner, hiding sick habits and skimming tribute. Casa stops paying. Tony settles it with a bullet. He also races Dan Succio, a loudmouth tied to the Forellis, and leaves him dead after the finish. None of it lands. Ma still isn't impressed. She even puts a hit out on her son.
Shame, Antonio. Really you do. People will think I brought you up wrong.
Tony doesn't whine. He steps back and hardens. Maria Latorre pulls him sideways. Maria is Salvatore's wife. All impulse and noise. She needs rides, shopping, medicine. She drags Tony into alleys where the Don's name should never go. Tony saves her from Wayne, her violent boyfriend, and rushes her around during a scare. Each favour risks cops and rivals. Tony keeps saying yes because refusing her would be louder than helping, and Salvatore would hear the echo. The real problem is bigger. A Sicilian underboss, Massimo Turini, arrives to make peace. His past is old world muscle. His plan is pressure by proxy. He plays mediator with the mafia families, then arms street gangs, the Diablos and Triads, to wear them down. Tony tails meetings, hears the lies and connects the dots. The Sicilians want the city weak enough to grab. JD's road ends the way it often does. After helping the Leones take his own club, JD is told he'll be made. Salvatore doesn't trust him. Tony gets the order and carries it out. It's brutal and simple. If you sell once, you'll sell again. Vincenzo's last play comes dressed as a truce. He calls Tony in to talk. The room loads with gunmen. Vincenzo still thinks he's calling the shots when the first muzzle flashes. Tony reads the setup, turns the angles and kills Vincenzo. The humiliation phase is over. The loudest liability is gone. Pressure rises across Portland. Mayor Roger C. Hole, in the Forelli pocket, hammers the Leones with inspections and raids. Tony answers on the street. He leans on union boss Jane Hopper to open the docks, protects Leone's shipments, crushes Diablo runs, and stops Triad burners from torching the cash warehouse. Trucks flip, warehouses burn, Tony keeps the money moving. Through it all, Salvatore watches. Tony takes hits, makes choices, and doesn't break. With Portland steadied and Vincenzo buried, Salvatore shifts the war to Staunton Island, where signatures cut as deep as bullets. Portland taught Tony how to survive. Staunton teaches him how power really works. Staunton Island changes the game. Here, power wears a suit. The first target is Mayor Roger Hole. He's the Forelli's favourite pencil, choking Leone business with permits and cops. Tony hits the motorcade and removes the obstacle. It's quick, loud, and final. Into that vacuum steps Donald Love, once the TV smile of Liberty Real Estate, now broke and hungry for City Hall. He needs a fixer. Tony becomes the quiet hand behind the podium. Posters go up, attack ads land, rallies swell on cue. He sells steadiness, and the Forellis are paying the bill. The race looks winnable if the stink stays off. But the stink won't stay off. Paper trails and photos leak, tying Love to the leak. Tony scrubs what he can, steals files, burns drops, scares sources. But the rumour hardens. On election night, Love loses. He's not just beaten, he's bankrupt. Then the hammer drops. Salvatore is arrested. Tony doesn't fold, he runs moves from payphones and parking lots. He hits what needs hitting. Don Paulie Sadako is one of them. Paulie picks fights with the Leones. He dies, and the Sindacos fold in on themselves. A friendly badge steps in and out. Leon McCaffrey. He cuts deals, offers help, and points Tony at rival Cash and Cruz. When the risk climbs, he disappears. Cops rent loyalty by the hour. Lesson noted. Salvatore flags a new threat. The Yakuza are bringing in something heavy. A rhino tank rolls towards Espatria. Tony intercepts the convoy and blows the tank before it can tilt the map. Out of that smoke comes Toshiko Kassen. She's trapped in a cold marriage to Yakuza leader Kazuki. She asks Tony to bleed Kazuki's operation. Hits deals, cuts supply, break pride. Tony grinds it down. The last step is a rooftop duel. Kazuki falls, Toshiko thanks him and chooses her own end. It's quiet and devastating. The press keeps circling. Ned Burner shows up like a helpful ghoul. Fake scoops, real blackmail. He feeds jobs that look like cleanup. Then comes the worst one. Donald Love reappears and points at Avery Carrington, mentor, real estate shark. Avery shapes skylines. Now he takes a bullet. Tony steals Avery's development plans. Those plans draw new lines through Little Italy. Donald wants one more push. The target is Fort Staunton. It's a living district. The plans label it profit. Tony scouts the tunnels, plants charges, and walks out as the sky turns orange. The blast erases blocks. The official line says accident. Ned Burner has photos and leverage. Tony catches him and kills the story at the source. Donald vanishes as the Colombian cartel starts asking hard questions about missing mentors and vanished neighborhoods. The Sindacos are shattered. The Forellis limp. The Yakuza fracture. And the whisper from Sicily gets louder. Massimo Torini's hand is in every mess. The envoy wasn't here for peace. He was here to break the city, piece by piece. Salvatore sits in jail whilst this storm breaks. Tony keeps the streets in Leone hands, and the money's steady. When the court finally calls, everyone braces. The war stops pretending to be about business. It becomes about survival. Torini wants Salvatore dead before he can speak. The convoy rolls and the ambush hits. Tony rams and blocks and tears through cars, shot by shot. Sirens cut the air. Metal screams. Salvatore steps out of the wreck with dust on his jacket and no fear in his eyes. Loyalty is paid in rescues. On bail, Salvatore leans on City Hall. Miles O'Donovan sells clean politics, but he's drowning. Torini moves first and snatches the mare. No favours, no freedom. Tony and Salvatore follow fake plates, warehouse swaps, and half-burned safe houses until they crack the door. O'Donovan is shaken, but alive. The truth comes out clean. Torini backed the riots, stoked the gang wars, twisted the election, and fed charges to the feds. Goal? Make Liberty City beg Sicily for protection. Salvatore won't beg. The trail leads to the Portland Lighthouse. Waves slam rock. Engines idle out front. Tony turns cars into scrap and climbs the spiral. Stairwells, corners, short breaths. Torini runs out of men, then space, then time. Tony ends it. One more conversation remains. Salvatore's uncle, the Sicilian Don, plays innocent and sails home with a promise to pull back. It feels like a pause. In Liberty City, pauses are wins. O'Donovan understands his future now. He signs what needs signing and keeps the courts off Salvatore. The families fall quiet. The city hums. The war demanded. Salvatore sees it and remembers. Tony stands with Salvatore as Staten lights flicker and the water carries the last smoke from Fort Staunton's edge. The Leones own the night again. If you want to see how this control unravels next, the full GTA 3 story is waiting. And if these clean, straight story breakdowns are your thing, stick around and subscribe. What mission from Liberty City Stories hit you the hardest? Drop it in the comments.